2024 was packed with a lot of great games, but all the games on this list sucked. This is the worst games of 2024. Right before the end of January. What's happening, Internet? Kwing here, one of the co-hosts of KwingsLetsPlays, and today we're breaking down what the Internet says is the absolute worst of the worst games of 2024. Now, some of these we did play on the channel, and, well, they were pretty bad. And some of these, well, they are legendarily bad because they have actually closed down game studios as well as hurt Sony's pocketbook big time. So let's break it down with number 10. Usually you would think that the Karate Kid would be a great entry into the video game world. Well, what you're left with is a very lackluster beat-em-up that was just so boring that I have no idea how we finished the game. At first, you would think riding the coattails of the whole Cobra Kai show would be a good thing, or just focusing on the movies itself to build up hype for the new Karate Kid Legends movie. But Karate Kid Street Rumble is anything but a good game. It doesn't technically belong on this list, but, well, the game just was so-so. It was mostly fun to play like the first 5-10 minutes, and then the game got stale really fast. It was nice to have Mr. Miyagi and some other classic characters, but it's too bad all the characters essentially played the same. This is no River City Ransom, and nowhere near as awesome as the Streets of Rage games. Number 9. The Awakening. Well, The Awakening is a surprise entry because no one, and I mean no one, knew this game was coming out. Made by, of course, Namco Bandai, so you would think, wow, this is going to be a great game, but it just turned out to be a mediocre experience. Those people that actually played the game had really no praise whatsoever. It's just your typical meh game. It's not bad, it's not good, and the reviews are just kind of eh. So it puts it at the bottom of our list at number 9, The Awakening. It might be good if it goes down in price, but, well, it's happy where it is. Number 8. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleash the Game. If activists tried to actually target your children, this is the game that they attempted with. In fact, the game was so boring that I had to shut off the very mediocre music and put on classic TMNT goodness like Turtles in Time, The Manhattan Project, and even TMNT Tournament Fighters. And trust me, it made the game so much better. For a while. The gameplay mechanics is what you would expect from a hack and slash, I guess you would say. Although they really don't have any cool combos or anything. It's just kind of like run to the end and beat stuff up and hope that, well, you don't fall asleep playing it. Me personally, it was a huge disappointment because this was supposed to be a lot of great Turtle games. In fact, we had some, like Splintered Fate and the very rare 2012 Ninja Turtles arcade game that finally came out, and a lot of people gave it harsh reviews because it was so quick. It wasn't a very long game. But this game dragged on forever, and it just, well, no one will ever remember it. It's based after, of course, the brand new Ninja Turtles movie that was in theaters not long ago, and the voice acting was so-so. It really didn't add to the whole Turtles franchise for me, and this game will be forgotten very soon. Number 7. Star Wars Outlaws. Now, I actually played through this entire game, but it is one of the worst stealth games I've played in decades. And I mean decades. Yes, you could argue that Ubisoft eventually did patch the game and it played better than at launch. However, I like to judge games based on when I actually played them. And since this is my list, too bad, so sad. The game was so bad that I could literally walk up to a death trooper and punch them in the face and then win. Whereas if I actually tried to shoot them, well, I ended up dying half the time. Also, it was so annoying to me that the entire base would be alerted of my presence if just one person saw me, as opposed to other stealth games where if one person saw you, you'd have to deal with that person unless they notified the entire base by hitting the alarm. And well, in this case, everyone and their mom knew you were coming. Add on the fact that it has some of the ugliest character designs that we've seen in a Star Wars game to date, really doesn't make this a fun game to play. Now, thankfully, Ubisoft did patch the game, and some of you were lucky enough to have a much better experience than me, but I'm petty as all get out, and I will always remember Star Wars Outlaws as the mediocre space adventure of 2024. Number 6. Skull and Bones. This is one of those rare questions where you ask yourself, how in the world could they screw this up? All you had to do was take the awesome gameplay and the mechanics from Assassin's Creed Black Flag and make your pirate game, Ubisoft. And what do? You done screw it up. Not only is the game just so blah, but you've ruined the great experience of enjoying pirate games. That's what the audience wants. Nobody cares about swimming. No one cares about all this stuff that you did. We just wanted a great pirate game. And it's hilarious that Sega is going to be able to one-up you with the Yakuza Like a Dragon, the pirate game that comes out in February of this year. And they're just going to make you look silly because they're giving the audience exactly what they want. Awesome ship combat, and all the fun customization that was missing from this monstrosity. Skull and Bones was so bad that it literally sank the developer faster than the Titanic. As of 2025, the studio that made this game will actually be closing their doors. I guess they were unable to bail out the water before, well, their ship was sunk. Number 5 is Concord. Concord. What can I say good about this game? Really, nothing. I love for the fact that this game ended up really hurting Sony where it counts, in their pocketbook. They planned an extensive future with this flop of a game, including an animated series that really doesn't mean anything anymore, tons of merchandise, and Sony expected this to be the franchise that would really help them in this genre of shooters. But, well, Concord failed faster than any game in 2024, and Sony is still reeling from the kidney punch it received, with character designs that look like they were drawn by a 4-year-old, and voiceovers that just make you scratch your head and be like, these are voice actors? That, ladies and gentlemen, was Concord in a nutshell, being nice. The gameplay was more or less what you expect from these type of shooters, but the funny thing is, Sony said, well, people aren't really ready for this, and then in December, Marvel Rivals came out and showed Concord how it's done. Concord would be left in the corner crying with the dunce hat because they done screwed up big time, and gamers will continue to make fun of this flop for years to come. Number 4. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown is a 2024 online racing game that crashed really bad. Sitting with a Metacritic average of 53%, a 5 out of 10 on Steam, a 5 from IGN, and a 2.1 from PlayStation. Ouch! That's brutal. This game is like watching a car accident in slow motion. You're actually aware of how bad the game is, but you just feel so bad that you're trying to warn that it's about to careen into the side of the wall. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Test Drive, one of the biggest disappointments for racing fans in 2024. Sometimes, it might have been a good idea for the developer to just hit the brakes before things got, well, this bad. Number 3. Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Receiving mixed reviews and mixed opinions by most gamers, although activists love this game because they can actually finger wag people that disagree with them. So you know that this is their absolute wet dream. Although, for Dragon Age fans, this is a utter abomination for the franchise, and may even very well destroy Dragon Age entirely. Angry Joe is still reeling from how bad this game was and gave it a 3. Most publications that are basically, well, sock puppets at this point, all said that the game was mediocre. IGN originally gave the game much higher marks and then came to their senses and gave the game a much lower score. The gameplay is just kind of it's not good, it's not great, but what will have fans ripping out their hair is the terrible narrative that destroys Dragon Age's legacy. But I will not be posting any of the cringe fest here. You can go watch some of that up on YouTube. The reason why it made our list, even though thank God we never played it, is because the internet absolutely hates this game and it will live in infamy with memes until the day we all die. Number 2, the indie game Dustborn. Oh my gosh, what can we say about this game? If toxicity was a game, it would be Dustborn. Dustborn is everything wrong with Culture Warriors from the last 4 years, and they decided to make a game going after everything that they hate. The game is one of the most boring things ever unless you watch a streamer hate play it, and then it's one of the most hilarious things that you'll ever find on the internet. The game literally is from the point of view of one of those cringy wokies on Twitter. The voice acting, the narrative, the story is all trash, and the character design looks like it was made by a 2-year-old. Now, before we get to the coveted number 1 worst game of 2024, the recap. Number 10, Karate Not So Kid. Number 9, The Awakening. Number 8, TMNT Snorefest. Number 7, Space Ocean 11. Number 6, I Sunk My Studio. Number 5, Concord lost Sony millions. Number 6, Test Drive into a Wall. Number 3, The Dragon Age Franchise Killer. Number 2, Activists the Game. And now it's time for number 1. Oh, you knew this one was coming. Now, I actually played this, entire deconstruction of the Arkham franchise by people that absolutely despise everything that was great about Arkham. The narrative is all over the place, making fun of not only the fans of Arkham, but also the amazing Arkham games that came before, basically the poor orphan child of the franchise. Gone is the great characterization that you had for Harley Quinn and company from previous Arkham games, replaced with, of course, Twitter talking points, Twitter dialogue, and Twitter politics. If you like that, then, Suicide Squad is the game for you. With gameplay that wasn't terrible, but story that literally made you pour bleach into your eyes, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League more than deserves its place at number 1. But if you thought the main campaign was bad, wait till you play the DLC and some of the worst character designs we've seen, especially from some of the great stuff that was in Arkham previously. But what really makes things fun is the fact that when you finally beat the game, is the fact that they had Harley Quinn at the very end of the game, and not the people that they said recorded dialogue, like Kevin Conroy and George Newbern and all those Justice Leaguers. They decided to bring the Justice League back, and everyone that died was just clones. And Harley Quinn, of course, narrates the return of Batman and Superman that you were waiting for, to have Tara Strong very badly describe how the Justice League survived, sort of. And of course, because the Justice League feels bad for everything that their clones did, they're going to take responsibility and go throughout the multiverse trying to help people, while the Suicide Squad has been pardoned of all their crimes, which they did a lot, and they're off into the galaxy doing their own thing. And thankfully, they'll never be seen again, because this game is going to disappear much faster than that Avengers game did, so at least we can take solace in that. So Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is our worst game of 2024. This game will be fondly remembered as ruining Rocksteady's reputation with gamers around the world who once held Arkham in their hearts. So congratulations, Rocksteady! And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the worst games of 2024. Did you agree with our list, or were there some things that you think were worse than the games that we described as the absolute worst games of 2024? But until we meet again, thank you so much for watching. God bless, happy gaming. Hit those notifications, switch them on, and I'll see you guys next time with another video on who knows what. Bye-byes.
Hey, Metropolis! Do you like live executions? Well, don't touch that dial, or I'll break your fingers.